Mr. Stuart says he wants to get married, but his fiancée says it's just a piece of paper. Now he's giving her an ultimatum. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, the case of Stuart v. Langley.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Mr. Stuart, Miss Langley, thank you very much for joining me today. Mr. Stuart and Miss Langley, you've been together for 3 years. You've lived together for 1.5 years. You just purchased a home together, engaged for 1 year, and your anniversary is coming up. So, although you have no children together, this house has become like your child. Everybody has some stakes in the ground. Why don't you tell me, Mr. Stuart, what brings us to divorce court today?
Your Honor, I'm here today because I'm giving my fiancée, Sam, an ultimatum.
Okay.
She needs to step up and get ready to get married. We need to address some flaws in her characteristics, or we're putting the house back on the market. She is inconsiderate, she is irresponsible, and there are a lot of things that she does that's just an absolute deal breaker in my case.
Okay, Mr. Stewart has laid out his case. Miss Langley, what do you say?
Your Honor, I'm here to save our relationship because, we can work this out, and I have put my life savings into this house. I'm not moving anywhere, and, we don't need a piece of paper to validate our love.
Well, you needed a piece of paper to validate the house, okay? It's funny how y'all put the cart before the horse. Mr. Stewart, take me back to how you all first met. What made you get together?
Well, Your Honor, we met about 5 years ago. We went on a date to an ice skating rink. I thought things were going great, so I just let the night proceed. I reached out to her for a second date. She wasn't interested, so we went our separate ways.
Interesting.
2 years later, we met on a different dating website. Turns out this time we had a lot more in common. We were both nerds. We love playing D&D. We like going on adventures.
What's D&D?
It's Dungeons and Dragons, Your Honor.
Hit me, I like that. Listen, my husband and I watch Forensic Files every single night, okay? We're 2 criminal lawyers, okay?
Yes.
So I got you, D&D works for me, okay?
So, we love playing D&D, we love going on adventures, we love watching anime together, and we love going to character conventions.
Do you dress up?
She dresses up. She tries to get me to dress up. I'm a little more hesitant about it. I just like to go and watch.
Okay. So you do have things in common.
We have a lot of things in common.
You fell in love pretty quickly, as my notes say.
It was very fast. I knew that I wanted to make her my wife by, the end of the 4th date.
But that was after a 2-year hiatus, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we didn't realize who we were whenever we went on that second date. We had forgotten about each other, and we didn't realize we had been on a date before. So then we ended up going on another date, and we didn't realize it was the same people until 4 dates in.
Okay, Miss Langley, not to put too fine a point on it, but was he that not memorable that you can't remember that you went on a date with him?
He didn't remember me either, so neither one of us remembered them. At the time, I was just dating for fun. I had 4 or 5 dates a week. If I made it to the 3rd date, then I might learn their name, but beside that, no.
So I'm interested. So you were a bit of a serial dater, which is not a problem. You're a young person. Y'all are supposed to just be having fun as long as you're being safe and not,
right,
being, irresponsible. So that's fine.
Neither one of us remembered each other. So,
okay.
But the big thing for me was that whenever we first got together, on that first date, he was talking about how he wanted to try going skydiving. So I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna go skydiving. And I can actually submit this photo here of the 2 of us skydiving.
Wow.
But,
oh, you did the tandem skydiving?
Yes, so yeah, we were about 10,000 feet up in the air whenever we jumped out of the plane. So, apparently he just didn't want to chicken out in front of me that early in the relationship. So he kind of got forced into it. But he was willing to do it with me. We had a great time. And that was kind of whenever we first started telling people that, we were in a relationship.
Which I like that very much. How did it go from you figuring out what she needed to make it work to us getting to a point where you say there's some deal breakers and we're in divorce court?
Well, Your Honor, everything kind of changed when we finally bought the house and started moving in together.
Why did you buy this house?
Your Honor, it's always been one thing that I wanted. I came from a very traditional family. My parents were married, they had a house, we had a place to live, we called it a home. There were so many memories built there, and that's something that I wanted not only for myself, but I wanted to share this experience with Sam as well.
Okay, but I understand you all had real conversations about what you saw as your future together. Did you discuss marriage?
We did discuss marriage, Your Honor. We discussed that we would like to get married in the future. However, we made it clear that kids were off the table, as neither of us were quite interested in that.
Okay, so you had real discussions about what you wanted your relationship to be. Did you talk about a timeline when it came to marriage?
We did not talk about timeline when it came to marriage, but we did discuss like what kind of vendor we would want. I'm more of a traditionalist. I wanted something, you know, nice, something a little.
He won't let me have the wedding that I want.
And Your Honor, as she mentioned, she does not. Her ideal wedding is going to be in a bowling alley or an arcade, which makes me think that she thinks the entire concept of marriage is nothing but a game.
Did you all have this part of the conversation ahead of time? Because, you know...
We did, but like then he was like, oh, you know, it'll be fine, until all of a sudden he's like, no, it's not fine. And I'm like, but then why did you tell me that it was fine?
So you told her that it didn't matter where you got married, that you wanted to ultimately be married. Is that what you said?
I told her that I wanted to get married and that we would pick out a place that was suitable for the both of us.
Oh, it sounds like you parsed your words.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I want someplace that's fun because neither one of our families really dance, right? So, you know, we wanted to, you know, have someplace that was fun, that was active. And, you know, I just really see it as a piece of paper. It's not important, like, it's not a big thing to make a big deal out of. It's a piece of paper, and he wants me to wear a ring, and I will not keep up with a ring. Like, I will lose that ring if he gives it to me.
There's a reason why you all didn't have that second date initially. Because y'all don't have the same concept of what you want. And there's nothing wrong with what either one of you want. Mr. Stuart, you came to court today in a tie.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Langley, you came to court in a unicorn dress.
It's what I wear to work.
By the way, I love a unicorn dress, okay? That's not a problem. But the point is, are you able to be compatible with each other?
When I come home, my first thought is I get to spend time with her.
It's boring. Like, I want to go out and have fun and excitement.
That's the most wonderful thing that a partner could say about another partner.
No,
and you couldn't even shut up for being whimsical for 2 minutes and acknowledge what the brother just said. Mr. Stuart, so clearly you had different ideas of marriage. I'm going to say 100%, so you know my bias walking in the door, Miss Langley. A lot of people treat it as a piece of paper. I treat it as a foundation for building something solid and long-standing. I love my husband more than I love air, I'm telling you. I feel so good and safe with him. He takes good care of me. What do you love about Mr. Stuart?
I mean, I love the fact that he has kind of that stable aspect because, you know, I lose things and I'm not the most stable person in the world. So sometimes
you're not the most
stable person in the world.
But he still loves you.
Your Honor,
but he draws me back in
everything.
sometimes and I need that.
She loses everything. I keep up with her keys, I keep up with her phone, I keep up with her purse. The moment she sets something down, it doesn't exist.
But Mr. Stuart, why do you love her?
I love so many things about her. She's adventurous, she's a little wild, she drives me crazy with a single look. She's the type of person that when I come home, my first thought is I get to spend time with her.
That may be the single nicest thing I've heard in divorce court. Very few people, I beg your pardon?
It's boring. Like, I want to go out and have fun and excitement, you know?
You hear this, Your Honor? She wants to go out and have fun and
First time this year, you get the spin. Did you just say that's boring?
Yes.
You lucky. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If I knew a nice girl that enjoyed anime and D&D, I would introduce her to Mr. Stewart because this is a nice man right here.
He's very nice.
Okay, but why would you insult him? Excuse me. Why would you insult him in front of people and say he's boring? This is a man who has proclaimed his love and said the very first thing he thinks about is spending time with you. That's the kindest, sexiest, most wonderful thing that a partner could say about another partner. I don't want to be with anybody else. I just want to be with my partner. That's what the man just said. And you couldn't even shut up for being whimsical for 2 minutes and acknowledge what the brother just said. Okay? And you wonder why you in divorce court. Acknowledge what the brother just said.
I do appreciate it, I do. But, you know, to me, love should be something passionate and exciting and fun. And, you know, I know that he's saying that he kind of bought the house and he put the main down, but I bought everything in the house. So I bought the refrigerator, I bought the furniture, I bought everything else that, you know, I don't even get credit for because it's not the house.
Your Honor, she may have bought everything inside of the house, but that's about as far as it goes. When I come home every day, things are excluded. She doesn't live up to what we would consider wifely duties.
Oh, no, I try to live up to wifely duties.
I come home, all the cabinets are open, the house doesn't look like it's been taken care of at all. There's not even food being prepared.
Ms. Langley, Mr. Stuart, this is a bias that this judge is going to say to you. You can't expect wifely duties from a girlfriend. She's not your wife. You need to consider whether or not she's gonna be your wife.
I went to him and I was like, hey, I really want to paint downstairs. I asked him, hey, can you look at this color? I got done and he told me that the wall looks like baby diarrhea.
She didn't tell me that she was going to paint a mural and it looks like a poop yellow.
You told me to do what I wanted.
So you like the whimsy until you don't like the whimsy, Mrs. Stewart? Now, I know, Miss Langley, you say that the marriage is only a piece of paper, but the paper that you all signed combined a financial obligation.
Right.
Okay? So he may have put down the down payment, as I understand, about $20,000.
$20,000 on a $300,000 house, Your Honor.
Okay. And Miss Langley, I know that you put in time, toil, effort, decorations, so pretty much the equivalent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I mean,
in terms of what's inside the house. Is that fair,
Correct.
Mr. Stewart?
That is fair.
So it's really the house together that you all have built.
Oh, no, it is, but he's even accusing me of ruining the house, you know, and it's been like a whole thing. We have white walls. I'm sorry, but white walls are boring, right? So
No.
I'm gonna submit
Again, with
into
the boring-
evidence this picture of our basement that
Yes,
I
ma'am.
did, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So me and my friend, we went through and we painted up the castle, we painted the walls.
That's kinda
I put up
cute.
Everything, yeah, I love it,
I think it's
right?
really cute.
So I went to him and I was like, hey, I really want to paint downstairs. I asked him, hey, can you look at this color? And he told me, yeah, the color was down there. I got done and he told me that the wall looks like baby diarrhea and that, you know, it's so ugly and he doesn't even want to spend any time down there after that.
It almost looks like the dragons from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right, it's cute, right?
I think that is really
He called it
special.
Your Honor,
ugly,
when
he
she
said it
told
was
me
like
that she was
baby
going
diarrhea.
to paint, when she told me that she was going to paint, she said that she was going to paint the wall. She didn't tell me that she was going to paint a mural or some kind of exotic masterpiece.
You told me to do what I wanted.
I told her that she could paint the wall and then come back and it looks like a poop yellow. It's obviously not the greatest color out there. This was not something that I actually agreed with.
But Mr. Stewart, if you tell your partner that he or she can paint the basement, because that's where there's gonna be fun, then you can't come back on Tuesday and say, I don't like the color that you painted if you did not get involved.
I just let her run with her creativity and my expectations.
So you like the whimsy until you don't like the whimsy, Mr. Stewart? You understand what I'm saying? All the stuff that you fell in love with, Miss Langley still is. She was irresponsible. She was whimsical. Y'all didn't barely remembered each other, okay? So you fell in love with this whimsical unicorn dress-wearing chick with the wild, fun, curly hair. You fell in love with that. That's exactly what I see in front of me. Now, mind you, I might want a more traditional, straight-haired chick that's sitting up in here in a blue basic dress. But if that's what you want, then this was never going to be this young lady. Miss Langley was always gonna be the chick and the unicorn. That's it, always. She's not moving out of who she is. You might have to move out of that house, though, because y'all bought it together. And that's your decision, Mr. Stewart. Can you live with Miss Unicorn?
Your Honor, I can do my best to live with her, but there are some flaws that I would at least like to try and work on.
Tell her what you need from her.
I need for you to be more financially conscious. I need for you to actually take time to realize that this is a house that we're building together. I need for you
You
to...
are always nagging me, though, about fixing these things. And whenever I try, or whenever I'm like, no, that's the way it is, you don't listen. So what do you want me to do here?
I'm telling you what I want you to do, and I'm telling you what we need to try and address.
No, you
But
have an
don't want to
idealized
work
view
on
of what you want, but whenever I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to fix, or how do you want me to fix it? You're like, I don't know. I can't do anything with an I don't know. Bottom line, I'm not getting married and I'm not moving out.
Mr. Stewart, I hear you brought some paperwork.
That is correct, Your Honor. I have here a petition for the property. It's part of the ultimatum. It's either we're going to seal the deal and finally get married, or we're putting it back on the market.
And I go to the source. Joint property ownership when one party wants to sell. The law allows any co-owner to fracture the joint ownership via a partition action. Something tells me that's what you brought to court.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I'm not selling nothing, okay? Like, he can try this, I will fight him in court, and I know for a fact that it'll take him months to be able to figure this out. And in that time, you know, he's probably gonna end up changing his mind anyway.
There's no changing my mind. The house was supposed to come with marriage, and if marriage is off the table, then she doesn't get part of the house.
Why you would want to marry anybody that just told you she married you for this house is a foreign subject to me. Sir, do you want me to serve those papers on her? It doesn't matter to me one way or the other, because you're going to fight this lady to get her out of your house. And your house, because this is both of your house, you spent too much time worrying about trying to set up a traditional relationship without assessing whether or not the partner you were picking was the right partner for you. And you, Miss Langley, you worked out your fantasy. You got the house that you wanted, that you now no longer have to be a renter and just hang out with your friends. You used him as much as he used you. You probably both do belong together, because I don't see relationship here. I see controlling and I see manipulation. And that makes me very, very disappointed. You want me to serve the papers?
You can serve the papers, Your Honor.
Will you retrieve the papers for me?
Sure.
It'll take months, though. You're not gonna get what you want out of this.
Got nothing but time.
Well, they're filled out. Petition for partition.
I invested my life savings in this house. Like, seriously?
He invested his feelings in this relationship. And the fact that all you're doing is talking about the loss of a house when I'm about to serve a document that says your relationship is over says a lot more to me. You may be controlling, but you're manipulative. Please serve the papers.
Sure.
I'm not selling.
You've been served.
Okay.
You don't have to sell. He can sell. Mr. Stewart, I'm disappointed in the two of you. You all took 2 years hiatus in between your first and your second date. Probably should have taken a little bit longer. We're done here. That's my verdict.
I'm not selling this place.
I'm selling the place.
Well, you're gonna have to fight me in court, and I will find a way to appeal.
Like I said, I got nothing but time. This is my house.
Bring it on. You're always so impatient with everything that I do. You'll change your mind
impatient.
by the end of it.
I will not change my mind. This is my house. This is my future. This is what I'm getting.
It's my future too, and I'm gonna make sure that we don't sell.
You're not selling. Those are mine. You've
Bring
already signed it.
on.
It's
Yeah.
done.
Whatever.
Made